25 starts now. This is your last opportunity to get those points on the board and feel good about your chances going into day number 2.
And I will spoil nice and early, ladies and gentlemen, we do get a zone that pulls heavily, seemingly either towards Harbour, Chem, Prison, maybe somewhere in between the three. You know how we can be here in Warzone. But the action kicks off early, in control of all places, and 100 Thieves, despite a very impressive previous map, find nothing but shotgun shells to the damn chest as Volcom, the rest of the Movistar Koi, run amok.
That was Game 7. We saw Movistar Koi land down on the boat. Game 8, they're kind of nowhere to be found. And here in Game 9, when push comes to shove, well, hey, they answer right back on top of the 100 Thieves. And, well, we had our questions about the Generates, but I'm looking at the kill feed, and I'm seeing Echo going crazy over at Bioweapons. Great job from them to be able to find a lot of those kills that are there. And, well, surprisingly, up at Grandma's, EXO Esports, yet again, have moved.
It's an interesting one, this, because every time we've tuned into AG Global, they want their anchor in that tower. They are not finding the win for that. Consistently bullied away. They need to find a way to get themselves going, because the thing is, you can't really have your Slayers in scumming and so, for example, pushing out and finding those kills if your anchor isn't in position, because it leaves you highly exposed. It's why they're struggling to get going as we tune in with 9Z Globe and that squad coming in from Argentina. Talking about a couple of these boys coming into this weekend, they'd never flown long-distance planes before this tournament. An insane story for sure.
Yeah, love seeing them being on in here. Would love to see them get to our finals day, because they have a very, very cool story that deserves to be told. They've had some moments of greatness, oftentimes off the back of Alatu, who loves to stay up in that tower, and I think make it a little bit difficult for AG Global to be here. But as I'm looking at the skill feed, Enigma, I am seeing AG Global seems like maybe they've won this contest here in our final map of the day. As we can see, Scummin and Nate Dogg, I think, working together in tandem to make sure that they can bring them down.
Yeah, for everything that I was trying to set up about the lovely story to do with 9Z, by the way, they are the first team won. So well, I am sorry, gentlemen.
They call it the caster curse, baby.
In full flow, as AG Global finally get a hold of the tower. We will tune in with 5 Fears. Of course, a lot of eyes on them for good reason right now. They are starting to find a couple of kills and managed to stay alive a lot longer than they probably should have in the last map, but it's a hell of a rotation for them from here. Stopping them en route will be AG Global, of course, holding tower. You then also got presence in this headquarters region from EXO Esports, and off towards factory side. There's going to be none other than Team Vision, so not an easy crossing from this point on.
No, not at all. We see Skullface getting a kill onto Goat Clamp in the meantime as well. But look who's starting to move their way on in. It's Novo. They want to get active here at Control. We knew this was going to happen when we walked into this group stage. Obviously, with both Movistar Koi and 100 Thieves being in the same group, we said, okay, we understand this contest can happen, but what's going to happen when they go against the other groups? And we're starting to see that now with Novo starting to get a little bit of a third-party action rolling. And when we kind of see on our minimap right there, it looks like 100 Thieves, they've decided to kind of disperse for the moment, figure out a different area they would like to hang on to.
Yeah, indeed, and well, we get a look at Rock Esports in prison, and Noobs is going to back Vision down as Virtus Pro want to fight for this. Rock Esports went down very early last map, and it's all about how they're going to fight for this. Noobs does a great job over the top to find Prodigy. And what do you do here if you're Rock? Well, Wars goes down as well, so Vision's just going to have to try to get the hell out of here. The problem is you're going to land in Noobs' lap, and that will be Rock dealt with. Had a fantastic start to the day. You could argue their first 4 or 5 maps better, well, first 4 at least better than many would have expected, but the last 2, they'll want to watch these ones back and do a bit of odd reviewing, because it has not been a good climax of the day.
No, it is not. And 5 Gears, well, look where they are. They get a little bit of just desserts playing alongside this Grandma side, answering on back to EXO Esports. So as the zone has pulled a lot of these teams outside of that stronghold area, kind of up here towards this prison side, you got to take the fight to somebody when you're on this rotation. And, well, it looks like the 5 Fears starting to be able to maybe find some of those kills that they have been so desperate for. The problem is now that you've made your way on up, you have this team who loves hanging out here and loves farming some of these teams that make their way towards Grandma's. And you're starting to see maybe a little bit of success finally for AG Global, as this is what they've been known to do. It is hold down this headquarters area and just kind of keep their heads on a swivel and shoot at anything that moves.
White Shot's going to tell us a couple of things here, but one of them is that 5 Fears are starting to collapse on towards this AG Global fight. Nate Dogg's going to get aggressive here, so I'm trying to provide support over the top using that Cypher. LC10 though for Nate Dogg. He's going to try and get aggressive. It's just avoiding being isolated. You want to get into this fight, but with your teammates backing you up. So trying to bait them in up the stairwell. Scum's going to send out the Prox mine, but the problem is you're kind of arriving in bits and pieces. Nate Dogg needed to recover, put plates in, so Scummin then tries to help. He gets found. 5 Fears might have punched their way through another hole, and they're trying to solve a couple of the problems that they've had by just simply playing together, turtling and using their numbers to flatten anything in front of us.
Yeah, Nick Dog not able to get on out of that one. Just gets caught on the hop on over. So it's going to be only one player left from AG Global, who has made their way into prison, which seems all fine and dandy until we remember that, well, Virtus Pro, they had made their way on up. Down towards the industry side, though, we can see Gamax already still trying to be able to bring it to the Gentlemates, and wow, what a win from Elolam. Nice little slide shot to make it happen. Can he find the second? No, he can't. Noobs there to play a little bit of a spoiler. And I'm looking at this mini-map here, Enigma, and well, Noobs just kind of by himself, just slides on down out of prison, goes and finds that one, and it looks like they're just going to kind of push on back to Chemical. You got one player who's just hanging on out back there, and that should be enough for Noobs and Dongy to kind of start flexing out of this POI that we know and love.
Yeah, especially considering the way situation is going on that side of the map. So many teams just trying to recover this. They could just go and mop all of that up. You do get Orbs finding one here in a circle, just trying to find a couple of bits and pieces of this 5 Fears team. But with 5 Fears coming out on top in this engagement, Anxiety and Scythe continuing to roam through prison. There will be company from AG Global potentially. We move on over to the fight that's happening at Bioweapons, 100 Thieves recovering. You've got Hollow down low. You've also got Netodds assessing this one from a distance, just trying to get his boys back in. They will spawn on the opposite side of the map, maybe float on over. This Bioweapons could be huge. It's probably a chemical zone, to be honest, towards the end. That's where Virtus Pro are going to largely set themselves up. But a regain here would give you a great rotation for later.
Yeah, I do love that 100 Thieves have basically just cut all the way across the map, decided to put their feet right here at Bioweapons, because I agree. I think this is, if you can't hold Chemical, hold the next best one, and I think that's going to be Bio. It lets you look down towards this north side of the map, it lets you hold all the southern side. If anybody tries to make their way through Industries, you're going to have a great idea as well. Glass engaging that drone, just trying to get an idea of maybe where there's some people around him, and I think he's going to get an idea that potentially Hollow is sitting underneath as well. So do they go ahead? Do they try and make that happen? Not entirely certain. Virtus Pro at distance, looking to just be a nuisance for 100 Thieves for the time being, and well, right below them at Industry, you have the Gentlemates as well, who are still hanging on. Hollow, 0 kills to his name. Don't usually expect a lot from the Anchor, but you also at least expect something.
Yeah, it's been a difficult game for Gentlemates and none more so than for their Anchor, and it will get even worse as he gets shot in the back, and I don't think you're getting away from that one. You're absolutely not. As Gabe finds you. Gromlock and Enkyo then going to try and reset in the Industries as the circle squeezes yet more teams off towards the chemical side of the map. I can tell you that AG Global have a bit of lands across. They also have company from a hell of a lot of teams here in prison. 5 Fears being one of them. They continue to survive for now. Novo Esports being the other. So at some point, those 3 teams are going to meet each other, and it's going to get very messy. We've seen Novo dying in the feed to 5 Fears, so they're coming out on top in that little bit of an engagement. The wide shot gives us the perspective that we want. This fight will last a bit longer. However, once we start talking that 4th circle, it will move everybody. So you want to be in the best possible position for rotations.
Yeah, I was just kind of looking over this. I'm like, man, there's so many teams at prison right now. Like, where do you try and play out of this? I think AG Global probably has the best idea, and that is just to kind of play from a different side. Unfortunately for Nate Dogg, though, he tries to join up with his teammates, and he just gets taken out from the sky. And, well, we're starting to see a little bit of a battle here at Chemical from 2 teams who make no surprise. They know this fight inside and out, as it is Team Vision tries to make their way on in, but Virtus Pro, it is just them running as a death ball right now, as they just absolutely put to dirt both Lennon and Echo. Thankfully, FIFA Kill, he's still alive elsewhere. We'll see them get brought back on in, but I think Virtus Pro, it's a little bit of a slap in the hand saying, hey, no, this is our POI. It's not yours anymore.
Well, a team that has been trying to recover is 5 Fears, and let's find out how they're doing that with the listening.
Watch that fight, just kill the fight. Another advance, buy another advance. Repop. Here, money. Do not let these kids cut in for free, bro.
I have to come in for the advance, I have to.
Yeah, I'm taking the top height. I'm up.
So let's go. I left it to you, just pop him. Okay. You have a P, remember
He's
that.
sniping, bro. It's Lennon in them. There's 3 of them.
You have a P to force anything.
Yeah.
They're rowing.
They're turning around. Just bang out the solo, side, bang out the solo.
Cracked, bro. They're fucking in the scabs, bro.
Yeah.
Up tall. I'm straight down, one shot.
Tempered. They have quick armor. They're gonna armor up quick. We're good for the zone.
Go cam. I'm grabbing this armor box. Go cam, it's free.
Yeah, you see the solo, yeah? Go sit down.
Scythe doing a lot of the leading of the comms there, just trying to give his boys an opportunity to calm. You could hear the nerves when we first went in, I think. They recognize that they're in a better opportunity than they've been most of the day. But Scythe just assesses what we've got here and how we can play this out. And it's a great rotation actually into Chem, and you start to get damage. You find perches as well onto Virtus.pro as Noobs is cleaned up. I'll say, by the way, in the back, Team Vision did not get wiped. They just about are surviving over towards Prison side. So Killfeed giving us a little bit of a do-si-do there, I think is the term you use, my friend.
Yes.
But this is an incredible rotation, actually. Out of 5 fears, they find themselves into Chem. They've got Virtus.pro recovering nearby, and everybody else, they're going to want this land, and they're going to have to do it mostly in bits and pieces.
Yeah, you have a couple big squads around you, though, who see the position that you have, and they want to take it from you. Also, while that fight was going on, we watched the Gentlemates get taken off the map as well, so they're going to be away from that top 5, that 1.4 times multiplier that they are desperately looking for. But for 5 fears, I'm totally in agreement with you. That listen-in didn't feel good when we went on over. I wasn't feeling super confident about it, but hey, guess what? It was enough for them to be able to get into that positioning. For some of our other teams, though, it's about where can you also play if you can't manage to hold Chem. We watched Team Vision. They wanted to try and take Chem. They lose the fight against VP. They have to back on up, so where's the next best spot? They want to play underneath here at Gens. FIFA kill, sniper in hand, hoping to get an opening pick.
Interesting fight going on off towards this north side. We are going to get a look at it. 100 Thieves against VP. There was not Peach. However, I don't think anyone actually struck a finishing blow. Actually, yes, you will be missing one of the Virtus.pro players, so 2v3. They're going to have to back off, reassess that situation. That might force them into 5 fears. And again, they might try and just counter-wrap that and blast Worried as he gets picked up by the nade. You're going to have this Gamax team rolling in from the backside. They need a big game to close things out here, and they're flooding.
We could see a third party from 100 Thieves. If they watch this fight happen below them, they could try and activate, clean it on up if they wanted to, as they are playing from above. And Sage, last player alive. He's got to go ahead. He's got to back on up, try to stay alive for the time being. And here we go, 100 Thieves. They're going to drop on down. You're trying to make it happen. Tedix, he's able to slide on in. It's good for some trades, but Skullface will deal the final blow. Gamax, I believe, taken out of this lobby. 100 Thieves getting a little active, getting some more points on the board, continuing that momentum off a last game win.
By the way, off screen, we've actually had 5 fears manage to bully Vision out of Chem. So you've ended up in a situation where they've got control of that again. It's 5 fears as Vision try and recover nearer to the harbor side, just left relatively out in the open. Will have placing though for top 5, so it's all about assessing this next push in. 100 Thieves are going to be squeezed by gas. We get a quick look at the fact that Novo not in a great spot. He'll looking to finish this, finds cams. There will be one more left in the water, but the Overwatch is a problem, and that zone is going to pull to the opposite side of this Chem building, so a huge position for Vision to try and rotate to.
Novo taken on down. While that's all happening, Skullface, he makes a gas play, gets a buyback on in. So all 3 members of 100 Thieves, they're going to be here in game, playing from below. He's good for 1. Blast was his ones on the other side. Echo and Lennon taken on down. You still got FIFA kill down below, but he's going to have to make his way up to that buy station if he wants to try and get his teammates back on in, and Scythe will not let it happen. Final 3 teams sitting out here. We still got a member of Virtus.pro hanging on out. It's 100 Thieves looking to go back-to-back, and maybe, finally, some life out of 5 fears.
Sage just desperately trying to third-party some sort of situation, just hold on for dear life. He has 3 kills. Can you get any cherry on the cake here for getting into top 3? But it's a 3v3 potentially happening above. 100 Thieves are going to have the bottom portion of the building. 5 fears up top. They have the overlook. They have the overwatch. Will that result in a map win for them?
100 Thieves. They sense the blood in the water, the nerves running through 5 fears right now. This is the first time they've looked good all day. They've made the right decisions. It's just all about closing it out now. It's about silencing the haters in this moment. It's either go big or potentially go home if you can make it happen, as they sit on top of Chemical, just begging anybody to scam.
Zone starting to squeeze. Sage will have to move. Anxiety may well have the look over. Thieves have a player out towards gas. Is that a wrap potentially coming in? No, I think you're assessing that situation, deciding against it. Sage, well, I love you, buddy, but this is a difficult place to be in for sure. Going to try and get high. Big man's going to dive, though, and the bodies fly. So where does Sage actually come into this? Keep an eye on him potentially arriving. Big man going to get up close. LC10 in hand. Skullface Blast come prowling out of the doorway. Hand in hand, there's a pinstripe feed for pretty much everybody. 100 Thieves lose 2 bodies in this. Sage is still up.